So, hallo, guten Morgen, Leute. Wie geht es euch?
Gut,
Gut, gut, gut. Okay, ich sage euch eine Situation, okay? Und ihr sagt mir, was für ein Gefühl ihr dann habt. Ähm, Let's imagine, wir alle leben in Pune und wir wohnen alle in Pet Area, City Area, okay? Und um nach zum College zu gehen, um Morton College zu gehen, müssen wir die Lakri-Brücke überqueren und auf die anderen Seite gehen. Ja? If you know from the city area, if you want to go to Morton College, you have to go through a bridge, take a bridge and go to the other side. Heute haben wir das gemacht ganz einfach. Morgen, wenn ich auf die Lakri-Brücke gehe und ich sehe, dass die Lakri-Brücke gar nicht existiert und ich kann jetzt nicht zum Morton College gehen, was für ein Gefühl hättet ihr dann? Which thoughts would come to your mind?
Karware College.
Wie bitte? Nein, nein, ich spreche nicht von anderen Colleges. Ich spreche oder ich frage euch, welches Gefühl ihr dann hättet. Ihr könnt jetzt nicht mehr zum Modern College gehen, weil die Straße jetzt blockiert ist, weil es keine Lakri-Brücke gibt. What thoughts would come to your mind?
Ich fühle sehr schade.
Open at the road.
Moment, Moment, zwei Leute, Rutusha und Shruti, ihr habt gleichzeitig gesprochen. Darf ich Rutusha zuerst bitten zu sprechen?
Ja, ich fühle sehr schade und erst schockiert.
Mhm.
Und
Okay.
ja,
Ja, okay, so du fühlst dich schade und du wirst total schockiert. Shruti, was sagst du?
Government the road. That's why it's blocked completely.
Ja, und dann wie fühlst du dich?
Ich will in der Zweifel.
Mhm. Genau, du wirst dann verzweifelt,
Überrascht.
überrascht natürlich, aha, traurig auch vielleicht. Ja, und genauso war die Situation in der DDR, in Ostdeutschland, als die ostdeutsche Regierung in einer Nacht eine Mauer in Berlin gebaut hat. Heute konnte und durfte man von Ostberlin nach Westberlin fahren und morgen plötzlich gar nicht. Und diese spontane Entscheidung war sehr, sehr schockierend für sehr viele Leute. Und das ist unser Thema heute. Wir sprechen ein bisschen über die Berliner Mauer und dafür habe ich für euch eine Präsentation über die Berliner Mauer. Ich teile dann meinen Bildschirm. Ja. So, wir alle wissen, dass die Berliner Mauer jetzt nicht mehr existiert. Die Berliner Mauer ist jetzt weg. Die stand in Berlin zwischen 1961 bis 1989. Wie viele Jahre sind das? Mathematisch? Who is quick at this math?
30 Jahre.
Nein, nicht ganz 30.
28.
Genau. 28 Jahre gab es die Berliner Mauer in Berlin. Und was war die Funktion von der Mauer? War das eine Sehenswürdigkeit?
Nein.
I mean, actually yes, aber was war die Funktion?
To geteilt Deutschland in zwei Teile.
Ja, nicht Deutschland, sondern jetzt, wir sprechen nur über Berlin. Also die Stadt Berlin in zwei Teile zu teilen. Die Berliner Mauer hat Ost- und West-Berlin voneinander getrennt. It separated Ost und West. Und dann, ich weiß nicht, ob ihr den Hintergrund oder das Hintergrundbild hier ganz klar seht, aber hier dieser Teil ist West-Berlin. Das ist natürlich die Mauer, and it is obviously not a straight Mauer. It goes as the road goes, so to say. Und das hier ist Ost-Berlin. Und dazwischen gibt es die Mauer. Und dieser Mann zum Beispiel, der hier ist, kann diese Mauer nicht überqueren, cross, und kann nicht und darf nicht auf die andere Seite gehen. Das war die Funktion der Berliner Mauer. Die Funktion der Berliner Mauer war, die Stadt Berlin in zwei Teile zu teilen, Ost und West, und ermöglichen oder dass die Leute aus Ostberlin nicht nach Westberlin gehen oder fahren durften. Das war die Funktion. Aber die Mauer war mehr als nur so eine construction. It was not just a cement and brick construction. Die Mauer war viel mehr als just a simple fortification. Und das sehen wir in dieser Präsentation. Das ist einfach eine Gliederung, was alles ich sprechen würde. Die Vorgeschichte, warum die Mauer gebaut wurde, das haben wir gerade diskutiert. Wann und wie die Mauer gebaut wurde, die Grenzanlagen, welche Elemente hatte die Mauer, damit die Leute nicht nach Westberlin gehen konnten. Die Fluchtversuche, viele Leute haben versucht, irgendwie durch viele Ideen die Mauer doch zu überqueren und nach Westberlin zu fliehen. Und fliehen ist to flee or to escape. Aber nicht alle haben das ganz gut geschafft und einige Leute sind an der Mauer gestorben. A lot of people actually died while trying to go to the other side of the wall. Was mit der Mauer heute in Berlin passiert oder was ist mit der Mauer und Gedenken? Ich sage das Wort, wenn wir den Punkt diskutieren. Also, das ist das ganze Deutschland natürlich, wie es heute aussieht. Aber 1961 war Deutschland schon in zwei Teile geteilt. Das ist das Ostdeutschland, die Deutsche Demokratische Republik. Das ist das Westdeutschland, die Bundesrepublik Deutschland. Hauptstadt von DDR oder Ostdeutschland ist Ostberlin. Hauptstadt von Westdeutschland, von der Bundesrepublik Deutschland ist Bonn. Und auch in Berlin sieht man, dass es Ostberlin gibt und diese blaue hier oder graue hier ist Westberlin. So Ost- und Westberlin. Auch Berlin war in zwei Teile geteilt. Und das hier, das Ganze, das ist die innere deutsche Grenze. Hier gab es keine Mauer. They did not build a wall exactly, not a fortification, but it was always very highly guarded by security. Alle diese Grenze, the entire border, the way we have it at Wagha, there is no exact wall as such, but there are soldiers who always kind of guard the wall, that there's no in and out happening. So das war die innere deutsche Grenze zwischen Ost- und Westdeutschland. Und das hier war Berlin und hier hat man die Mauer zwischendurch gebaut. Ja? Genau, und ich habe euch gesagt, the wall was not just one wall made up of cement and bricks. That is this, the wall made up of cement and bricks. If you can follow the arrow, my cursor. Aber die Mauer war viel mehr als nur eine Mauer oder ein Beton äh, construction. The Mauer was this entire thing. It was kind of an entire zone. So there was a wall, then there was one more wall, and between the area that remained in between this wall, there were a lot of blockings that were done so that people, even if they climb down the Mauer, they cannot pass through this hindrance. Even if they pass through this hindrance, they wouldn't be able to pass this hindrance. Und das nennt man das Absperrungssystem und der Todesstreifen. They called it the death trap. So the wall was not just a wall, they called it the death trap because it was literally like playing in a video game. एक लेवल पार केली तर दुसरी परत प्रॉब्लेम आलाच. अजून एक लेवल पार केली तरी अजून एक प्रॉब्लेम आला. Und so weiter. Also so war die Mauer eine nicht einfache Mauer. Die war mehr als nur eine Mauer. Es gab einen Todesstreifen und this death trap had a lot of things. And the things we had discussed once in our lecture. I'll just stop sharing for a minute and go and show you a few pics. Ja, genau. Lass mich jetzt noch einmal meinen Bildschirm präsentieren. So, es gab zum Beispiel one of the, let's say, zone or one of the Streifer, one of the layer of the Mauer was where there were a lot of wilde Hunden, there were wild dogs, and every time they saw anyone in that wall area, they would just bite the person to death. So that's war wilde Hunde. So even if you kind of climb the wall and come to the other side, on the other side, let's just say the first problem that you're going to face are these dogs, wilde Hunden. Dann gab es diese Wachtürme, if you remember the word a watchtower, und das waren ziemlich hoch, they were pretty heighted or high. Und hier sitzen oder standen die Soldaten. Die Soldaten hatten natürlich ein Fernglas in der Hand, they had binoculars in their hand und die hatten eine Pistole in der Hand. Und sobald sie eine Person in der Mauerzone gesehen haben, haben sie die Person geschossen. They had shoot-at-sight orders, and as soon as they saw anyone lingering around in the area, they would just shoot the person, no questions asked whatsoever. So that is, let's say, the second hurdle in the Mauer. Dann gab es natürlich, ja, das sind die Grenzposten, die Grenzsoldaten, und die hatten immer eine Pistole dabei und sie durften schießen. Nobody was able to ask them, why did you shoot that person? The simple explanation was that person was in the wall area, we had shoot-at-sight orders, we shot. That's it. No questions asked, no case filed against them, nothing of that sort. Yeah. So that was the second hurdle. Dann gab es natürlich diese Grenze oder diese Absperrung, the fencing, so to say. And if you see, it is pretty. It's not a good idea to climb over. If you get stuck, you really would hurt yourself very, very bad. Yeah. So that was also one of the hindrance or hurdle in the Mauer. Ja, genau, das sind die Soldaten noch einmal. This was one more thing. You could just easily kind of tumble or triple and fall down. So that was also not a good idea. Diese Gitterzaunen, und das waren die Minenfelder, the bombs that I told you about. So the moment you step on any of these, a small bomb would be activated and you will get hurt very, very bad. Also das waren die Minenfelder und das sind die Gitterzaunen, the barbed wire. You can't possibly go through this. You really would start bleeding because these things are really sharp. Ähm, genau, und das waren alle diese Absperrungssystem oder der Todesstreifen. And even here you can see this is one layer, this is the next layer, this is the watchtower ka layer, this is one more layer, this is one more layer, and this is one more layer. So almost the wall had 6 to 7 layers. No? Here it says 1 to 13 layers. So it's not just about climbing one wall and you are into west. You have to climb, let's just say, 13 walls in order to go to the west. Do you think it was a very simple task to do that? Was glaubt ihr, war das einfach, die Berliner Mauer zu überqueren? Hallo?
Gar nicht.
Gar nicht, ne?
Nein.
So, aber dann natürlich gab es einige Checkpoints, wo man von Ost nach West-Berlin gehen durfte. It was not that everything was completely sealed. A few checkpoints were kind of started, and this is called the checkpoint Charlie, one of the checkpoints from where you could go from East Berlin into West Berlin. And you see there's a small chamber here, und da saßen die Leute und die haben deine Papiere gecheckt, ob du eine valid reason hast, warum du in den Westen gehst. So there were people from West Berlin could have the possibility to go and visit East Berlin, but they needed a visa, they needed the right amount of papers, they needed the right amount of reason to go. They were not allowed to take along any Western products into East Berlin. If all of these criteria were fulfilled, they were able to go in the in the East. And that is why they had built up these checkpoints from where the West Berliners could go into East Berlin with the help of all the right paper and all the right documentation. Yeah. So this was one of the checkpoints of the US government, and that is why they had named it Checkpoint Charlie. Yeah. Today, das ist eine sehr, sehr wichtige Sehenswürdigkeit in Deutschland, in Berlin. And this wall here, they have built a museum here, das Mauer Museum. There's a wall museum right here at Checkpoint Charlie, and thousands of people visit this Checkpoint Charlie and this museum every single day. Einige Leute wollten natürlich nicht in Ostberlin leben. Die wollten nach Westberlin fliehen. And the morning that people understood that the government is building a wall, and that once the wall is built, it will be almost impossible to go to the west, some people started fleeing right away. And the interesting part is the wall was built in such a way that at times there were houses that came in between the wall, in which case they either tore down the entire house or building in order to construct the wall further ahead, or they would just keep the house as it is, which meant that a few people and their housing system was such that their doors were in East Berlin, but their windows were in the west. And here, this photo especially, you can see people are trying to escape and come and let themselves fall into West Berlin. And then you see there are these police or soldiers who are trying to get the people back. And even here, maybe these people had their windows in the East Berlin and their doors in West Berlin, and maybe vice versa, and they were just fleeing and escaping from their windows so that they can settle into West Berlin. And once you land up in West Berlin, there's nothing the soldiers can do. So let's just say there's a soldier trying to get this woman back into the house so that she will be back into East Berlin. But if she does manage to get down on this part of the road, she will be in West Berlin. Then this soldier, this man will not be able to do anything to this woman. Ist das klar? And that was especially diese Fluchtaktionen. Flucht is to escape or to flee. A lot of these fleeing or escaping attempts were done in Bernauer Straße. This was the street where the maximum portion of the wall divided a house into two parts, uh, where the door was in east, but a window was in the west of Berlin. Yeah. And then there were so many incidences where people tried creative ways to escape from East Berlin and go to the West. One of the Fluchtversuch, uh, one of the try that someone did to escape was through a Heißluftballon. They just created this kind of a hot air balloon, and they tried to flee, escape from the east into the west. Unfortunately, they were not able to do it, and they all died. They were all shot. Yeah? And then there was one more attempt uh, in which a few people tried to dig a tunnel from East Berlin, which was supposed to end up in West Berlin, and then they did successfully escape. Although it was not a very good idea, or it was not a very easy task, they really had to dig for a very long time. And you see, fast einjährige Bauzeit, almost for a year, they were just digging a tunnel 145 meters long. And that is how then two families, I think, yeah, no, okay, 57 Flüchtlinge, 57 people um, escaped through this tunnel and landed in the West Berlin in 2 days, the 3rd and 4th of October 1964. Yeah, this was a successful attempt. The earlier one wasn't, unfortunately, and people died. Yeah. So if you see, that is where the people started digging, and this is East Berlin, and you see this entire thing is the wall. So you see it is so close to the wall, and then the uh, yeah, the out or the exit of the tunnel was here, and one was already into West Berlin. And you see a person coming out of the tunnel, yeah, into West Berlin. So heute existiert die Mauer natürlich nicht. Berlin ist eine Stadt, there is no division, but Germany has still kept quite a lot of pieces or remains of the wall, especially the one in Bernauer Straße. This photo was taken by me in the year 2010, and you can see that the wall is still there, although it means nothing now. It is just a historical significant thing for the Germans and for Berlin. And you can also see the Todesstreif in the entire layering of the wall, the fortification. And there are a lot of museums in Berlin where you can see a lot of documentation about the wall. One of the most important documentation is called the East Side Gallery, and once again you see the wall all across this road. You can see the wall, but the wall, however, looks very different now. It is very colorful. People have painted graffitis and important messages on them. In fact, after the wall came down, there was, so to say, a celebration that happened, and Germany or the German government called out to painters and artists from all over the world to come and display their work on the Berlin Wall. The Berlin Wall was like this really huge canvas that the artists got, and a lot of artists painted a lot of things. You can see a little bit how what the East Side Gallery wall looks like today. A lot of paintings, important messages, and this was done by one of the artists, and he wrote: Wer will, dass die Welt so bleibt, wie sie ist, der will nicht, dass sie bleibt. So the one who wants the world to remain as it is doesn't want the world to remain at all. Is that clear? The one who wants the world to not change, to remain the world, remain as it is, doesn't want that the world should exist in the first place. Yeah? So change is required. Yeah, and some more pictures. You can see how a few pictures kind of talk about peace and freedom and no more chained down, and how people are kind of united here. Different people from different countries. You can see this probably from China, from Africa, and so on and so forth. So it gives out important messages for life. Um, ja, und das war die Berliner Mauer. Ist das klar? Ja? Gut.
Yeah.
Ja, Ma'am.
Yeah.
Dann wollte ich euch zwei Videos zeigen, aber diese Videos kann ich, also die Links kann ich euch in die Gruppe schicken, and you can check it out while having breakfast right now, and then we'll meet for general at 9:55. Also, ich schicke euch die WhatsApp-Links oder die YouTube-Links in WhatsApp. Bitte, bitte schaut euch mal diese Videos an. Don't forget to watch them right now, because tomorrow, in tomorrow's lecture, I will be discussing those two videos. Okay? Ja?
Ja,
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Dann das ist alles für heute.
Ja.
Wie bitte? Anusha, bitte?
Nein, alles klar.
Alles klar. Okay, gut. Dann wir treffen uns für General 9:55. And tomorrow, do not forget, we are doing Doppelte Lotchen in the first lecture, and you have to read the next two chapters. Make sure you do that. I do not want anyone to tell me that I forgot or I could not, and so on. I've sent you the chapters well in advance, so make sure that you read it not just once, but you must have already read it at least twice to thrice. Write a little bit about whatever you understand, so that you'll be able to tell me something about it in German. Okay? Gut, dann
Ja. Ja.
tschüss.
Tschüss.